Hi everyone, welcome to the Clarity Monthly Product Webinar. Michelle Anton here, Brand Ambassador for Clarity. And today we have an amazing lineup, starting with our esteemed guest, Dr. Sandra Rose Michaels. And the host of our monthly product webinar is Chris Neville, Vice President of Product Development for Clarity. He has more than 25 years experience developing nutritional products, and he's the mastermind behind Clarity's flagship nutritional drink, Calibrate. Chris's company, Biophotonics Innovations, is involved with ongoing research and product development focused on the latest scientific findings for longevity and regeneration, along with supporting the emergence of green energy technologies. Hey, Chris, I want to turn the webinar over to you, and I'm so excited to hear about Dr. Sandra and the new product and how it can help so many of us.
Well, Michelle, thank you very much for the kind introduction, and welcome everybody. If you've just joined us on the call for the first time round, it's a big welcome to you guys, and certainly for our emissaries and partners for Clarity. It's a really exciting day. Super excited to be able to introduce you to Dr. Sandra Rose Michaels, who's taught holistic medicine for the past 4 decades. Her research in applied integrative biophysics has earned prestigious recognition at presidential and international Who's Who awards. She's lectured at United Nations, MIT, the World Summit on Integral Medicine, the Harvard Club, the Royal Society of Medicine, Mount Sinai Medical School, the Scalar Research Experts Conference, anti-aging congresses, and numerous medical schools and ministries of health worldwide. She's been featured on national newspapers, various journals and publications, as well as a fabulous documentary on CNN, The Doctors, the Wall Street Journal, and the Beverly Hills Times. So if that weren't enough, she's also ordained as a Dame, Commander of the Order of St. John's in the Orthodox Knights Hospitalier tradition. She's currently working to provide energy wellness centers to United States veterans worldwide. And I am so pleased to welcome you, so Dr. Sandra Rose Michaels. Thank you for joining us on the call.
Hey, aloha, Chris. I'm happy to be back in touch with you. Very excited to be sharing information, energy. Of course, I always start with aloha because that means oneness with that breath and that energy of all life. And that is that energy, that oneness that connects us. And so we want to share from that place of aloha.
Well, aloha to you as well. And I know that there'll be a lot of brand promoters and also potential people interested to hear more about some of the work that you've been doing, which is really not only revolutionary, I think it's transformational for the planet in no uncertain terms. You've been just recently back from London, where you've been doing a presentation just in the past week. And for some, I know that your work might seem to be kind of right on the fringe and the cutting edge. And I want to kind of pare it back so it becomes meaningful for people. So can you maybe share a little bit of background to scalar energy and potentially what bioscalar technology is and how you went about creating that?
Okay, well, the simple explanation as far as for the benefits for everybody, every single body can benefit from that infinite source of life energy. It's called Chi, it's been called Ki, Prana, but it's that spark of life, and activating that spark of life in the body. So it goes back to kind of an understanding of like the power that made the body heals the body. And when the body has the right energy, the body wants to function more and more optimally, more and more perfectly. And so this is that bioactive energy that the body relates to, kind of like you recharge your cell phone, but this allows that support for the charging of every cell of the body. And it's just hyper healthy energy, life enhancing energy that allows everything to heal.
So with regard to scalar technology. I know that you are regarded as being like the sister to Nikola Tesla. You've worked and been associated with Professor Korotkov. Some of the research I know that Fritz Albert Popp has been conducting has really confirmed much of the work that you've been connected with over the last several decades. So what is bioscalar technology? What is that specifically?
Okay, because we can talk about so many things as we have, Chris, because we also imply the biophotonic aspect, which is a lot of your research. So we're incorporating that along with the scalar piece, which is, phase conjugate wave pairs, and it's like an infinitely projected Mobius pattern on an axis. So that's also known as a torsion field or a scalar vortex. The way I like for people to understand it a little more easily is like an infinity wave. It's an infinity wave, like a Mobius, and it's nonlinear, non-Hertzian, fifth-dimensional standing columnar wave. So standing columnar wave, also known as a true zero-point energy, that allows the whole body to kind of reset to its original point of balance. That state of balance. In Hawaii, we call it pono, but it's also called dynamic homeostasis. And the body wants to be reset to its ideal and optimal states of balance. And that's part of what scalar can work with when you have a true bioscalar, very life-enhancing, in that it can nullify the detrimental and destructive field effects, such as off the Wi-Fi and the cell phones. You've got your non-ionizing radiation and your ionizing radiation. So it also can nullify and repair the breakage of the DNA, the covalent hydrogen bonds of the DNA that get like unzipped when exposed to radiation, such as from Fukushima. And so this is a standing column wave. It's a unified field that puts the DNA back in its original matrix and repair and regeneration of those covalent hydrogen bonds. So this is a true anti-aging regenerative technology that's being incorporated. Chris, I worked with scalar research, building my own Tesla coils and things like that as a child, literally. But we built our first scalar healing light chamber, 1978, and then this technology has been about 23 years of development, specifically designed, of course, to interface with the DNA and to help support that cellular replication, regeneration, that activation of the body's stem cells and that epigenetic expression. So you talk about gene nutrition. This is very specifically designed to enhance that genetic function, that genetic activity back to its original, you could call it matrix or its original order. So, and then we've worked with the scalar technology, the EE system, since our first clinicals with our oncologist. He's Johns Hopkins trained oncologist, Dr. Victor Marcial Vega, actually did our first clinical studies with 130 patients back in 2001. So we've had a lot of research since, including being included as part of the University of Hawaii Medical School with Professor Dr. Terry Shintani of Hawaii. Our technology has been featured there for 8 years, and we have peer-reviewed published studies on reversal of seizure disorder and autism and things like that. So besides other amazing things, because it's really quite simple. When the body has the right energy, it wants to function more and more perfectly. And one of the unique things about scalar is it is cumulative in the body. It's beyond relative time and space, so it continues. And scalar is a carrier wave, a carrier of information. So it's very exciting when you couple that with how we can carry the information wirelessly, wireless transmission of energy around the world, and through the wireless transmission through our own DNA. So where else is
it's truly very, very exciting. And I know the time that I've spent with you in Las Vegas has always brought a smile to my face, because when a lot of people are in a state of distress, whether they're physical or emotional, mental bodies, it's like it comes back down to some really simple things in my view, and that is that there's really not so much a disease as opposed to an imbalance, and that imbalance happens energetically before it actually occurs physically. And that realistically the universe doesn't speak English. The universe speaks energetically and by frequency, and your work certainly is that universal language, and that's what I love about it so much. Perhaps could you share a little bit about, you've had people from all over the world, from really very, very well-known celebrities, or even politicians or religious leaders that have been exposed to some of your technology. Tell us a little bit about some of the research and the findings of what's been unraveled in terms of reestablishing wellness.
Oh gosh, reestablishing wellness. Well, we do have a saying here, and that's, we love miracles. And so we literally we love miracles. So the blind seeing, the lame walking, the deaf hearing. I have a Marine general, or he's called the General. I think you saw pictures of Frank Montgomery, the before pictures after having 3 strokes and 3rd-degree burns over his whole body. He was sent home to die, essentially. That was 2 years ago. Well, he's back here in Vegas with us, just landed back in from the Philippines. He was carried in, had total paralysis on both sides, actually. And now he's walking with just a cane, and he's 79 now, doing incredible, and full brain function as well. So that's one example. Like I said, we've done a lot with support for our veterans, and that's very, very important and exciting work for us. But on the other side, it turns out that, the miracles with the medallions, which, we're very excited to share with everybody. We had Father Ernie Silva, who was Pope John Paul's chief protege at the Vatican for 5 years. And he's also second in command. He's the vicar provincial of the Franciscan order. And one of his jobs was to report miracles to the Vatican. Well, he witnessed and reported 9 miracles with our medallions before I ever met him. And so, so the medallions, the Franciscan monks, and they've been presented at the Vatican. The medallions have been gifted and presented at the Vatican, and they reported miracles as well of the ones that were having migraines, for example. We had quite a few stories of the migraines being gone, or vision improvements, also ease of movement. The ones that weren't able to go up and down stairs anymore were going up and down the stairs, reversal of osteoarthritis, and things like that, because the body wants to heal and function more perfectly. And this supports the body in an energy field that the body understands and relates to as healing energy. And it's like supporting, it's like plugging the body back into the cosmic light socket, universal, unlimited power being back on and supporting every cell, every part of the DNA, literally the genetic expression. We talk about epigenetics, flipping those genetic switches to back on to a more ideal, optimal expression always. Because the body wants to function perfectly. That's part of the infinite innate intelligence of the body. So this provides that ideal energy for the body.
So that's a perfect segue. right there, and that's beautiful. The perfect aspect of what you're sharing there obviously ties in with one of our core products, Calibrate, and that whole product was developed around gene expression. So, how is it when you hypercharge a product like Calibrate? What is it that actually happens with the ingredients, and how does it benefit the body?
Well, it allows we've done many testings of product, and this creates an energetic field that optimizes all the benefits. You want the maximum benefits that your body can obtain from each of the ingredients, or the whole is greater than the sum of the parts always. And so you want that optimized for your own genetic expression. So this helps modulate it to the individual and helps bring that expression to its highest potential, because we're actually embedding this healing energy into the products, and that's communicated through. But what's unique too is it never loses that energy. It's, we can test things 5 years later, and it's literally as great a charge or greater, because it's beyond relative time and space. Remember, it's an infinity wave, so it just keeps on going. One of the unique properties of scalar that really sets it apart from even just the photonics and the biophotonics and those aspects, the unique aspect of scalar is that it has this ability to repair and regenerate itself indefinitely. These are self-healing, self-repairing, self-perpetuating fields that, also supports that self-healing energy in the body. And it's the interface. It interfaces perfectly with that DNA spiral. If you can think of an infinity wave and that spiral, and it's trying to bring everything to that point of perfect balance or alignment with highest potential.
Well, that's super exciting for anybody that just discovered the possibility of Bioscalar to incorporate that into their lifestyles. And as you know, we've got a wonderful conference coming up, and very, very excited to be able to have you share so much more than we can possibly squeeze on, this evening's call. And some of the research that you've been involved with for decades, and I just think that everybody's going to be absolutely thrilled and fascinated by, some of the background to what you're going to be sharing, related to not only the Bioscalar, but also, as you know, with our QSPA that we'll be launching, and its relationship to stress, and how we're using the Bioscalar enhancement with our brain entrainment programs. Can you maybe just touch on very, very briefly the importance of being able to shift the state of stress in the body, and how important that is to get well and stay well?
Of course, stress is what's behind any and all dis-ease. So that release of stress, because what happens is people get stuck in fright, flight, or fight, or a modality of being stuck in the body, taking all its energy just to cope with the stressors, versus being able to rebalance itself and respond appropriately to the stressors rather than staying reactive to them. So that's very, very important, and that relates very much with brain states, because we want to synchronize the right enough hemispheres of the brain so the body can, it's like rebooting a computer, so the body goes from that fright, flight, or fight to being able to respond appropriately to all the stress versus being stressed out. We here at the EE System, we're very, very excited about the new QSPA. We have been testing it with people ourselves, and people feel it. They love it, because these are energetic fields that the brain relates to, that the body craves. And, so it gives us immediate heightened sense of peace and awareness and calmness, where when you have access to that infinite source energy, you know there isn't anything you can't handle, and you're ready to live your greatest life, your optimal expression at every level.
Well, on that note, I can't wait to see you again, and also to introduce you to our brand promoters at our upcoming event. And for any of you who haven't yet registered, that's coming up very, very quickly here in February 25th. Dr. Sandra Rose Michaels will be present, and also Dr. Lubia Dunga, who's also conducting some additional tests and research. All I can suggest is that QSPA is going to be three simple things. You're going to listen, you're going to breathe, and you're going to thrive. It's going to transform a lot of people's lives. And if you want to understand something that's going to have an impact on people's health, I believe, more than anything else that we've introduced to date, then you're going to need to be there. And all I'd say is that make it a priority. And on that note, I'd like to hand it back to Bernie, but I'd just like to do a big aloha and thank you to Dr. Sandra Rose Michaels, and appreciate you very, very much, and look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.
Yeah, that'll be very, very exciting, February 25th. I'm really excited to share some of the new stuff and introduce that. But I want to, in the meantime, what it's really about for us is we're sharing infinite waves of aloha healing energy around the world to touch the hearts of all, and to live aloha and live your greatest life and greatest love always. Thanks, Chris.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sandra. Appreciate it. Bernie, if you could perhaps just finish up, that'd be absolutely wonderful. And thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure, and this is just the tip of the iceberg of what we're going to be sharing. So do hope you can make it. See you soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris, and thank you, Dr. Sandra Rose Michaels. That was a wonderful presentation. I'm sure everybody on this call felt just like I did, where we were finally getting a better understanding of some of the technology that's used in QSET, that's going to be used in QSPA. So I'm sure everybody's even more excited to attend the Generation Next event coming up February 25th. We're just under a month away, guys, so let's get registered. Let's make sure we've got our seat reserved. If we plan on staying at the Ayers Hotel in Mission Viejo, that's where the event is being hosted, make sure you call and reserve your room today. Don't forget to mention Clarity when you're reserving your room, and you'll get the special room rate that we've got there. Registration can happen on any Clarity website. If you go to anyclarity.com homepage, in the upper right corner, you'll see the button for event registration. Just click on there to register for yourself for this event. If you're a brand promoter, you can register there. If you're a customer, you can register there. Or if you're neither of the above, if you're just interested in the products or interested in hearing some of the speakers, but they might not be a customer or a brand promoter, they can still register and get their name on the list, because we're going to have a packed house. It's going to be the first event that we're doing at a major hotel like this, because we're expecting a lot of people. So reserve your room today. It's going to be a good time. It goes on from 10 to 4:30, 10 a.m. to 4:30, and then it picks up in the evening for an after party. So definitely reserve the entire day. It's going to be jam-packed with exciting announcements, exciting product information, exciting guest speakers. So I want to thank everybody for attending this important webinar. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us. And have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, or afternoon, depending where in the world you're checking in from. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.